We appreciate all the work that they've put into it, and I want to thank Carol Farley back there, who also helped the Student Senate get this all put together, and of course our O&M team that helped set this up, and our IT folks who are here on standby should be having technical difficulties, which we hope we don't. So this is a great opportunity to learn a little bit more about the candidates. You know, local elections are very, very important because they make a huge impact on our community. And for our students who are here and who organize this is really an opportunity for them to see the process of democracy in real time, you know, being able to be in an open forum where ideas are shared, different viewpoints are shared, and to see all of that get done respectfully is a huge lesson, particularly in these times. So before I turn this over to Sarah, just a couple of housekeeping items. After we have the Q&A with the coroner candidates, we will have time for you to meet with all the other candidates that are here, and we'll have some refreshments, and then, you know, that'll be the end of the night. But if you are looking for the bathroom, it's through those doors back there to my right, and I also ask that everybody turn their cell phones off or put them on mute so that there are no interruptions when people are speaking. So, Sarah, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Good evening. I want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank the candidates for their willingness to be here this evening. The Meet the Candidates Forum is a long-standing tradition at Frontier Community College, working with both the administration and staff and student senate. The last time we did this, we couldn't have a live audience. It was all live streamed. It was during COVID, in the midst of COVID, but We felt it important to continue on as best we could, so it is very nice. This is our first one since that time. I just want to tell you a little bit about the Student Senate Club here on campus at Frontier. I can't even tell you, it's been at least 10 years since I've been the advisor. But we're the voice of the students to the administration here on campus. A couple of things that students have voiced concerns over. There was a time where traditional students, their membership to the Bobcat Den was not included in the cost of tuition. And Student Senate didn't think that that was right, that the athletes were entitled to it, but the other students had to pay. And so they took that to Dr. Edrin, and he made that change. He felt that he agreed with that. Something else, Student Senate 6 or 8 years ago met with Chancellor Ryan Gower. He came to campus to meet with them and talk about concerns. And the construction project on campus with the new gymnasium is a direct result from those conversations. So we do have an impact, and we think that's important for students, again, as Dr. Kapak spoke to, just democracy live and in person, and having an impact here on the campus of Frontier Community College. So I do want to recognize the students we have in attendance this evening. We have Eliana Ames and Sarah McCorkle. They are our timers. And in the back, helping with programs and refreshments, are Sam Coomer and Emmeline Benson. So we thank them for their willingness to get out in the evening and help us as well. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Sarah McCorkle, and she's going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mark Wells. I'm the moderator for tonight's Meet the Candidates Forum. And first off, we want to thank Frontier College for hosting our forum tonight, and also for sponsoring this broadcast, which is being live streamed on WFIWradio.com and also broadcast live on WFIW-FM 104.9. And we appreciate your support on our Meet the Candidates Forum. At this time, if our candidates would come forward, we're going to have them do an introduction and tell them a little bit about themselves, just a brief introduction, and then we'll get started with our program. All right, our candidates will come up. We'll first start with our corner candidates.
Hi guys. A little lower, that much shorter than you are. Speak right into it. Okay. Hi guys, I'm Sherry Winter. I'm the current coroner. I was appointed after Terry passed away in September. I know the other two candidates. I like them. I know them. I trust them. I like me better for coroner, and I'll get into my qualifications with the questions we have later.
Hello, I am Ronnie Best, and I am running for Wayne County Coroner. Good evening, I'm Tom Wendland. I'm also a candidate for Wayne County Coroner. We'll talk a little bit later.
And if our other candidates will come forward, these are our candidates that are running here in Wayne County, and also state representative of the 116th district.
Good evening, I'm Billy Joe Townsend. I am running for Wayne County Clerk. I'm currently employed in the county clerk's office. I have a bachelor's of business administration and 6 years of upper level management experience. I'm a hard worker and dedicated to serving the community, and I would appreciate a vote in the primary. Thank you.
Guys, thanks for having me. My name's Fisher Overstreet. I'm the campaign manager for your current Republican State Representative, Dave Severin. Dave was in Springfield this morning, and he's on his way back. This evening, had a meeting, he had to stop out, so he can't be here tonight, but sends his regards. A little bit about Dave. He's born and raised from Benton, Illinois. He has been representing Wayne County ever since January of 2023 when they redrew the maps. Proud to represent you guys, proud to work with some local officials who are here tonight, as well as Fairfield Mayor Gary Moore. They work together pretty often on some city issues, and he has a lot of endorsements, but the most important endorsement is your vote. So we ask that you vote, consider voting for us March 17th in the Republican primary, and I'll also have some info on our table. So thank you for having me.
Good evening. My name is Yvette Anderson. I am the current county treasurer. Been here for 4 years. I am running for re-election. I would appreciate your vote in the primary election. I do have a bachelor's in technical management. I've had 25 years of experience in this field, so I feel like I am a good candidate. We have improved some processes in the office, and would like to continue to do that for another term. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Celeste Garrett. I'm a licensed CPA here in Illinois. I'm running for the county treasurer. I work for small mom and pops all the way to large international conglomerates. I've been able to travel through the county and implementing Oracle to 13 different countries. And I'm also a Maxwell certified coach and trainer in leadership. And I have my bachelor's in business and accounting, my master's in business administration. I have an honorary doctorate in leadership, and I also have, like I said, certification in coaching and training. And I really appreciate your vote.
Good evening. I am Angela Evans. And I am running for state representative for the District 116. I am a lifelong resident of Southern Illinois. I'm from Cesar, Franklin County. I'm a Christian wife, mother of 3, and a grandma of 2. I currently serve on the Franklin County Board, and one of our main responsibilities is maintaining and producing a sustainable budget, which is what Springfield really needs right now, because we all can agree that our budget is bloated, especially after hearing the governor's state-to-state address. I bring over 2 decades of financial and management background. I did go to college in 2022. I took political science and government classes. I am running because I believe in Illinois. I believe that we can start winning in Illinois. I believe in term limits. I believe in accountability, and I would love to serve you in Springfield. I do have information at my table if you guys would like to drop by and know a little bit more also. Thank you. And I appreciate your vote on March 17th. Hello, my name is Janet Billington. I'm running for Wayne County Clerk and Recorder. I have been in the office for a little over 4 years. I'm a mother and a grandmother. I have 2 associate's degrees in ag technology production and ag technology business. I have always kept farm books for ourselves or for someone else. I've been employed. I was raised in Wayne County. I've lived here all my life, and I was employed at Airtech for 30 years. I gained a lot of experience all over the plant, doing multiple jobs, managing time. I appreciate your vote. I thank you all for coming out. I'm thankful for my family that has supported me, and I would appreciate your vote in the primary and again in the fall. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Chris Odie. I am the current Wayne County Sheriff. I've been with the Sheriff's Office since 2007. This year will be my 19th year. I've held every position from lowest ranked deputy all the way up now to sheriff, detective, canine officer. Since becoming sheriff, we've made tremendous strides in upgrading our technology and the training of our deputies. Also, I'm blessed with a great staff up there, and they share my vision for having a proactive department. So, though I'm running unopposed, I still would appreciate your vote in March. Thank you for having me.
I'm State's Attorney Kyle Ellis. I was appointed to fill the term that Kevin Kakak left behind, and I appreciate your vote this March.
Okay, and we thank all of our candidates for introducing themselves. We're going to get started with our Q&A here in just a few moments. I want to go over some rules and guidelines for tonight, all right? Now, this event is intended to be informative and family-friendly. Each candidate will be given an equal amount of time to answer questions. There will be no opportunity for rebuttals to other candidates as a response to previously asked questions. The candidate Q&A portion of the event will last approximately 1 hour. Questions have been organized and prioritized by the planning committee based on level of interest and importance. We will be taking a couple of commercial breaks also will be included in here, and we'll have one in just a moment. And please note that not all questions may be addressed. Each candidate is asked to limit responses to 2 minutes. The timer will be present at the moderator's table, which actually the ladies are doing it. And a bell will sound at the 2-minute mark. The moderator, myself, will conclude the response at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Audience members are asked to refrain from comments during the Q&A portion of the event. After the session concludes, attendees are encouraged to visit the individual candidate stations to ask follow-up questions. What we're going to do here is take a quick 2-minute break, get our candidates prepared, and if you need to stand up, stretch, go to the restroom, you can do that right now. We'll be back in a moment. Okay, as we begin our Meet the Candidates Forum, we'll start off with our candidate for Wayne County Coroner, Ryan Best. Ryan, here's your question. What education, training, or professional experience best prepares you to serve as coroner, and how does it equip you for the responsibilities of the office?
I have been employed at Johnson & Vaughn Funeral Home.
Hello?
Yeah. I've been employed at Johnson & Vaughn Funeral Home since September of 2007. I've been a licensed funeral director and embalmer since March of 2010. I mentored under Bob Johnson, who was a coroner for 32 years. I assisted Jimmy Taylor with various corner cases. Jimmy was corner for 24 years, and then I've also worked closely with Carrie Dagg and her staff on numerous corner cases during her term as well. I also assist Jared Vaughn with day-to-day duties of running the Johnson and Vaughn Funeral Home. Jared has been a licensed funeral director for 22 years and has owned the funeral home for 18 years. I'm a graduate of FCHS, class of 97. I graduated from EIU in 2001 with a Bachelor of Science in Business Management, and I graduated Worcester College of Mortuary Science in 2010. Some of the courses that we took there was anatomy, funeral directing, embalming, restorative art, funeral service law and ethics, microbiology, pathology, psychology, grief counseling and aftercare, accounting, business law, and small business management. So I work with deceased and their families every day. So this is kind of an extension to my job. It's a very important extension, but it just flows into what I do every single day. Thank you.
All right. Our next candidate is Tom Winland. Tom, what are the most significant staffing or resource challenges facing the coroner's office, and how would you prioritize spending to address them?
I believe.
All right. Go ahead and answer that first one. Yep. My mistake.
That's okay. I've been involved with public safety for 43 years, and in that 43 years, I've had ample opportunity for continuing education, including death scenes. I have worked through, over those 43 years, I've worked with all the coroners that have been there, including Bob Johnson, all the way down. One of the things that we specialize in or have extensive training in is the documentation. Being able to read a scene, but whenever we talk about the coroner's office, a lot of folks, it's a investigatory thing. But one of the things that we have to deal with is the families. The families are the reason why we're there. They have questions. The coroner's office should be able to answer those. Education-wise, I have a bachelor's degree in administration of justice. I have an associate's degree in criminal justice, police science. But over the years, I've specialized in emergency services and have responded to numerous cases where the coroner's office was involved. One of the pivots will always be taking care of the folks. Ensuring that questions are answered. Ensuring that the office works with law enforcement, works with funeral homes, public health.
Good evening. Thank you all for coming out. I am the current coroner here in Wayne County. I have over 28 years of experience in direct death investigation experience. In addition to that, I have 10 years counseling, crisis counseling, where I've dealt with people here in Southern Illinois that are suicidal or homicidal and their families. The experience I have involves or includes 11 years with the United States Air Force, 4 years as a uniformed law enforcement, 7 years as a federal agent with the Air Force Office of Special Investigations. I also served 5 years, almost 5 years, as a coroner's investigator in the county east of Dayton, Ohio. We were very busy. It was a full-time position. The reason I left was I was dispatched to my husband's fatal traffic accident, and I had 2 small children. I had a 5-month-old and a 3-year-old that I had to raise. Moved here to give them a fresh start. That's when I met and married Brad. We've been married over 21 years. I've been here almost 25 years. The actual education, I've been the deputy under Carrie for 5 years, coroner since September. Education, I've got an associate in law enforcement, I've got a bachelor's in social psychology, and I've completed all of the coursework for a master's in criminal justice administration while I was in the military, and since I have gone to the police academy, I've gone to the 3-month federal agent academy, I've gone to the 3-month U.S. Army crime scene investigation academy. I have gone through the best in the country is over here in St. Louis at the St. Louis University Medical Legal and Investigations course and their advanced course that they have after that. I also feel it's very important with families. This is a very personal decision with me.
Okay, thank you. And we'll move on to now our second question. And we'll go to Tom. What are the most significant staffing or resources or the resource challenges facing the coroner's office, and how would you prioritize spending to address them?
One of the things that we know is the coroner's budget is not that much. And there is quite a bit of expenses that they have. One of the significant staffing issues is I believe that they have the current staff where it needs to be. I believe there's the coroner and 3 deputies. I believe that would probably be significant and fine. I don't believe there's any changes that need to be made to that. I'm not sure about the spending of the funds. I believe that, as stated earlier, the expenses probably outweigh or are over the budget, but the coroner's office can't pick and choose what calls that they go on or what levels of investigation need to happen. I believe that the resources that they have available to them is, I think they're well staffed. I think the equipment that they have is very good, been updated. If I was to line things up, I would say that visiting with the county board and looking at the budgetary system would probably be the level, would be the first priority that we'd have to go through.
I was very fortunate that Carrie had put together the best multidisciplinary team I have ever seen in a coroner's office, and that's over 20 years in multiple different agencies I have seen. She had herself, she had a fireman background, she had an education background, she had me, I was the first one that she selected, and I've got, of course, the death investigations experience in the background. She had Beth, that has a nursing background, Lisa has EMT, and then we picked up Jason, who also has funeral director, and he worked down in Hamilton County for 10 years as one of their deputies. By having that, it is a tremendous resource. If I have a question on anything, and as coroner, I am full-time. I gave up a full-time position to take this at a pay cut. It doesn't pay well, but we're not here for the money. All of the deputies, they make less than $400 or $200 a month. That's it, for their expertise. We do it because we want to serve the citizens of Wayne County. Resource challenges facing the office. We have a lot we would like to do. We would like to finish Carrie's dream and turn that office into an autopsy suite and have the entire area. If they need autopsies, they can use our resources. One of the best resources we have is Will County gave us all of their equipment when they got a new office a couple years ago. We have a walk-in cooler and a walk-in freezer. If we were to have a mass casualty, we are the only place in southern Illinois that has that large of a cooler and a freezer that we can handle if there is a mass casualty. We have all of that. There's minor things we want to do, but the biggest thing is to take that back warehouse section and turn it into an autopsy suite.
The biggest challenge that I can see right off the bat is the rising cost of autopsies. The current 25-26 budget for the coroner's office is $74,431, with $20,000 of that being allotted to autopsies. Granted, you can't control how many autopsies you're going to do. Right now, they are taken to Springfield and done, which is a considerable cost to get them there and back and to have them done. So one thing that I would do is to look at different options. I know Evansville is an option. I know in the previous administration that a pathologist came down and did the autopsies. We've done many autopsies at the funeral home, and that would be one of my priorities to look into, cutting the cost of that.
All right. Our next question. Sherry, we'll begin with you. Do you believe the coroner should be a full-time position? How many deputy coroners, support personnel, do you plan to employ as part of your staff?
Some of this I just answered, but I'll continue to. Yes, I do think it should be a full-time position. I'm available 24/7. One of the things when I meet with families, I am concerned about families. I give them my card, and I'm very serious when I tell them, if you have a question, even if it's in the middle of the night, call me. I may be a little groggy. I'm not grumpy. I may be groggy. Take me a minute to wake up. But I will answer your question because I know what it feels like to have a question in the middle of the night and not feel comfortable enough to call anybody or ask them. I do think it's a full-time, and it's not so many how many coroner support personnel you need as much as it is the expertise. With what Carrie assembled, we've got the expertise that any question I have at a scene or anything, we can do that. So I don't plan on making any changes with how many deputy coroners or support personnel. We do have a couple on grants. The probation office will send us somebody finishing up community service. Basically, I have them cleaning the warehouse, doing gardening, that kind of thing. And then we have somebody from Waddy that comes in, will help us with the office, and mainly have somebody physically there. I'm not seeing, like I said, I do think it's a full-time position. I don't know how you could do this and be available 24/7 and not be a full-time position.
I respectfully disagree. I do not believe that it is a full-time position. And just some stats from last year, there was 125 deaths total in Wayne County. 45 of those was signed by the coroner, so that would be called a coroner investigation. Now that could be requesting medical records, things of that nature, and 6 of those deaths were unnatural deaths. So that would be anything like a homicide, suicide, things of that nature. The previous year there were 7 unnatural deaths. Of those coroner signed death certificates, 45, our funeral home handled 33 of those, and we also handled 3 of those unnatural deaths. So like I had said before, this is just kind of an extension of what I do already. So it would not be a full-time position for me. I would just work a little bit more. And as far as deputies, I plan on having 2 deputies. And both our funeral directors, combined, we have 77 years of funeral directing experience and 24 years of coroner experience. Not deputy coroner, the coroner experience, 24 years. And all 3 of us are able to execute all aspects of the coroner's role. So I would need somebody to answer the phones when I'm off doing something else, or I would need another person to do the computer work, the actual death certificate signing, because I can do it all, and my two deputies would be able to do it all. So, I answer my phone 24/7 because that's my job now. So I'm used to that. So, yeah, I do not believe so.
I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I too believe it's a part-time position. I would intend on having 2 deputy coroners. One has served as a deputy coroner, and the other one would be a paramedic or an EMT. The amount of coroner's cases that I've been on, the ambulance service could assist as well, lifting and moving. But I would be available 24/7. I have a position that I can move from one to the other without, go to another job without any trouble. I would be a full-time, part-time person. The position I have now requires me to be on call 24 hours a day, so would this one. I would gratefully serve, and my 2 deputies would gratefully serve as well.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ryan, we'll begin with you this time. Our next question is this. Do you plan to keep the current location of the coroner's office?
I do, yes. There has been a lot of tax dollars been spent to get that building where it is right now. And it would be a disservice to the community to not keep it.
Yes, I will keep that same facility. Obviously, the buck stops with the Wayne County Board. If they choose to move it somewhere else, that's up to them. But me personally, I would not move the facility.
Yes, I do plan on keeping it at its current location. Like I said, I'm looking at trying to take that back warehouse, turn that into an autopsy suite. To do that, I first need to start off, get an engineering report to include the EPA standards for sewer, for the ventilation system in it. Then I will work at trying to get grants for OPA for some of the ramps we need, through Greater Wabash, for the sewer hookups, because they're getting ready right across the street to put in a small subdivision. Getting ready to, once we get the engineering report, we put in for some other grants. Then we can get bids from contractors. There are grants available for a part-time 2-year grant on a pathologist. We already have one that's interested in a 2-day-a-week to be there for the actual autopsies. And I can't stress enough the investigative nature of this. I mean, those first people on scene, the first responders in the coroner investigating it, to be able to pick out the difference, to be compassionate with families, but be able to stand up to them when they need it. And when I mean that, I mean, what if it's an accidental death? What if it's a suicide? I need to do an autopsy, and I have a family that doesn't want one. I have to be able to be compassionate enough with them and stand up and let them know that. Why we're doing it, how we're doing it, where it's gonna be done. Currently, we use Springfield. The reason we use Springfield is the state police will allow that. Plus, they will come pick the bodies up and take them up and bring them back. They charge us $725 for their expenses. We pay $1,200 for the pathologist, and up to 300 for the toxicology currently.
Okay, thank you. Tom, we're going to go to you for our next question. If elected, do you plan to open carry a firearm?
No, I will not. I have pondered this question over and over again. No.
I was never a big gun person, and when Carrie used to open carry, full uniform, every place we went, I kind of raised an eyebrow like, huh, why? And because she wanted us to when we go on scenes, we usually open carry. Since I've been appointed coroner, I have been concealed carry, and I'll tell you why I'm concealed carry. I helped carry down at the Sean Riley murder on the interstate, and to see the evil there, it's one of those, I don't want to say, get into a situation and say, wait a minute, let me go get my gun. I'm concealed carry now. I will continue to conceal carry. The only time that I intend to open carry and go in full uniform would be as if we have something down on the interstate or a large contingent of people where they wouldn't know me, and I would need to be in uniform for identification and safety issues.
It would be a hard no for me. I believe that the coroner should not be in any situation where a gun, you should need a gun. That is up to law enforcement to secure that scene before the coroner's ever called there. So it's enough.
Okay, thank you. Tom, you're up first on our next question. Or Sherry. Yeah, there we go. Sherry. The question is, if elected, what is one meaningful change you would implement during your first term as coroner, and why?
Well, I've already discussed it, and that would be to finish off the autopsy suite. The advantage to that is we can do our own autopsies. It would lower the cost of the autopsies, plus we may be able to make a little money by other folks coming in here. If we get a pathologist that has the right credentials behind his name and has done the right cases that have gone to court that the state police will agree to, then other places will bring them, as well as the state police will send the autopsies in. So then they will, that is the biggest meaningful change that I plan to make, is to open that autopsy suite, try to do everything I can to get that finished, grants or otherwise, to try to help lower the cost of what we have for autopsies.
I'd like to take a more detailed look at the budget and see where everything is going. See if maybe can't reduce costs a little bit, because nothing's getting any cheaper. Taxpayers, we're all being taxed. I would do that. Like I said before, reducing the cost, the amount of autopsy costs, and reducing the deputies down just a hair, which would also save the taxpayers some money. But kind of just looking at everything as a wide view and seeing what we've got going on.
First things first, you have to look at the budget like Ryan said. We know that the budget is on the low end, but there is probably room for some improvement. I also think that working with other counties to maybe house some folks there, if that's a feasible opportunity there. I also believe that there is room for some cost-cutting measures. And we would have to look at those over a period of time.
Okay, thank you. With that, we're going to take a quick 2-minute break. For those watching online or listening by radio, we'll be back for our second segment in a couple of minutes.
Cooking and cleaning the house, you know.
Okay, we're set to resume our next question. And I believe we're gonna go to Ryan. You're up on this question. And here is our question. How do you see the coroner's office contributing to the county's broader public health efforts, such as identifying trends in overdoses, suicides, or other preventable deaths?
Obviously, good record keeping on that. Keeping stats. I threw out some stats earlier, so I'm a big stat guy, so I like to know what's what. So that, and obviously communicating that to the county and the board of public health and all that, to me is just kind of second nature, and we would go hand in hand with that.
Reports have to be made. Some of the situations require mandated reports to different agencies. In my current role, I report to a lot of folks. I know that the Illinois Department of Public Health needs to know about overdoses, any preventable deaths. Also, I think a good working relationship with the Wayne County Health Department, Illinois Department of Public Health, is good as well. Some of the situations that the Office of the Coroner can come in contact with is a communicable disease. And the reporting there also gives public health an avenue in order to alert the public of something that's going on.
Some of this is dictated by if there's a police agency involved, what we can release and who we can release it to. Otherwise, I have a good relationship with both of the news media. Any questions they have, they know they can text or call me anytime, and I'll get back with them. If I can't tell them, I can tell them. Preventable deaths. Something that hasn't been publicized yet is I've been asked, and I'm a member of the Southeastern Illinois Agency on Aging Death Task Force to work on preventable deaths in this 9-county area. Basically, the last one I took to them was a case we had here, because they usually deal with the elderly, they deal with the disabled. And I was able to take one, present it, and based on the disabilities that the young man had, the only preventable thing they think they could have had would have been a homemaker in the home or a helper in the home that could identify some of the issues so he could have gotten the help that he needed. Other avenues they have, so it's one of those trying to be proactive where I'm on the death task force, I'm trying to do things to get information out there for the public to be aware of what's going on.
Thank you. And Tom, I believe we're up with you now, right?
Yes.
Here's the question. How would you ensure the coroner's office communications with emergency personnel throughout the county?
In my role as Wayne County 911 Director, I was glad to get this question. There's numerous ways that the coroner's office can communicate with other first responders. The coroner's office has radios, but one of the things that I would like to see, regardless of who is elected, and I will say, I know both these individuals, whenever I put my alert out that I was one of the candidates, Wayne County cannot go wrong with any one of the 3 candidates. My personal opinion. One of the things I would love to see is the coroner's office utilize the Central Square technologies that the county has. That would make reports easy, that could be locked down where people can't read them, but would also make dispatch so much easier. I would like to see the coroner's office have a 10-digit phone number that rings in the dispatch center so that we can get information to them as well. Our dispatchers do take calls from public safety folks whenever the coroner's office is needed, and they contact whoever's on call.
Tom's right. You can't go wrong with either one of us. And office communication, I do drop in to see them. I do communicate with them. I try not to be a pest or a bother, but I try to let them know and build relationships, and that's how you get the communication out there. I know on scenes, I do have a radio that I use when I'm dealing with the different law enforcement. And specifically, when we have a particularly bad case, I go thank them. I usually take them dinner when the next time they all get together, just to thank them for the help on that scene. The one thing we cannot go wrong with in this county is the support we get from all of the emergency services. The fire departments remain on scene and help us. The police remain on scene. The ambulance service, EMS, they remain on scene to make sure we don't need any help, because it's usually just us going, and they said, I'm not gonna be able to pick a whole lot of people up by myself. But I feel we have a good working relationship that can always be improved.
I'd say that they both made good points. I like the idea that Tom said about the certain number calling in through dispatch to get the coroner, and then they would call the coroner, or he said whoever's on call. All calls would go through me if I was elected, and then if I wasn't available, I would reach out to one of my deputies. As far as emergency personnel, I've worked with firefighters, law enforcement, EMS, obviously, with my current role at the funeral home. We have good working relationships with all of them. Most of them have my cell phone number. I have a lot of theirs, so, worst case scenario, or best case scenario maybe, you just pick up the phone and call me. But obviously, like I said, could be improved, maybe streamlined a little bit, like Tom said. But it'd definitely be worth something checking out.
Okay, thank you. Sherry, we'll begin with you. Our next question is this. How transparent should the coroner's office be with the public? And what principles would guide your decision about releasing information?
I want to be as transparent as possible, but there's some information that I don't think the public wants to know. I don't think it's a good idea for me to come out and make a public service announcement. Please check on your neighbors and your loved one. It's hot outside. Please check on them, make sure they're all right. I don't think that should come from the coroner's office. Transparency, any questions I can. The only governing rules that I have is if it is the state police is involved or another agency is involved, they will dictate what I can and cannot release. Otherwise, if I think it's out of the ordinary, something that's not somebody just died at home unattended and everything looks natural, then I'll usually put out a press release or I will talk to the two media folks in case they have any questions or concerns.
We get this question a lot at the funeral home. People always want to know, what happened to so-and-so and how they passed. And it's just common sense to what you can tell and what you can't tell. As far as investigations, obviously you're not going to release any information until the investigation's over, and then you could release pertinent information. It's just common sense, in my opinion.
I agree that there are certain things that can and cannot be released. I agree that if it's a law enforcement case, they dictate. Either the law enforcement agency or the state's attorney's office would release that information that they would want released. I pledged to work with the funeral homes, the news media, and they would get as much information as we can release.
Okay, and that brings us to our final question of the evening. Ryan, we'll begin with you. The coroner may be required to investigate deaths involving law enforcement or other county agencies. How will you ensure independence and avoid conflicts of interest?
So the job of the coroner is to determine the manner of death. You're concerned with what's on the person and what's around the person. Anything else as far as the whole scene, that's law enforcement. And I'm not going to try and step on their toes. They know what they're doing as far as crime scene investigation, so that is I'm second seat to them. I'm worried about the deceased and trying to determine how they passed.
The coroner's office, the coroner is designated to determine the cause of death. Anything else on a crime scene, it's totally law enforcement. Whichever law enforcement agency's there, it's their call on how they're going to handle it.
Normally, there is no conflict of interest when you're dealing with law enforcement or other county agencies because you work hand in hand with them. If you have a good enough relationship with them to begin with, there are no conflicts of interest. I took this question a little different than these two did. I took it, what happens if one of the decedents is law enforcement or other county agencies? I've handled law enforcement deaths. I have handled suicides that were people I had counseled. You get in a mindset, you know what you're supposed to do, you do what you're supposed to do. I disagree with Ryan that it's not just the decedent and what's right around them. We have a little bit relaxed rules of searching places and looking for things to help back up what we're thinking. So it is a bigger picture than just the decedent. You've got to take the whole environment in when you're actually investigating them. Independence and avoid conflicts of interest. The corner's the corner. I mean, the office investigates how somebody died. You need to find out the type, the mode, the manner of death to put down to be able to fill out that death certificate, to work with law enforcement. We found things that other people didn't and had to bring law enforcement in. It just depends on working relationships, and I do not see an issue with being independent or avoid conflicts of interest.
Okay, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you, candidates. Appreciate your responses. Back, we want to thank the college for hosting Meet the Candidates Forum, and thank you for sponsoring it on radio and video streaming it. And that's going to do it for this evening. Thanks for coming, everyone. We'll have a Meet the Candidates go around to their tables, visit, talk to our candidates. All right? That's going to do it for this evening. Thank you.